Thank you very much for the prize, and thank you to all the co-authors. I will present the paper was about the antibacterial efficacy of PAC-CXL. Here's my financial disclosure. And probably everybody knows the principle of collagen cross-linking. We do an epithelial removal. We put riboflavin 0.1% during 20 to 30 minutes, and after we put UVA light at 365 nanometers during 5 or 30 minutes. And we have three main modifications. The first one is biochemical modifications. The cornea become more resistant to the collagenase activity. You can see it's a cornea that was cross-linked just on the top, and the cornea was put in the collagenase bath during 24 hours. And we can see that the cross-linked part has less, the collagenase activity is less active on the cross-linked part. Of course, during collagen cross-linking, we generate free radicals, which are toxic for more pathogen. And the third effect is a biomechanical change because we create new chemical bond inside the cornea. Just some history of the collagen cross-linking. The collagen cross-linking was developed for the treatment of keratoconus, and in 2008 there was the first proof of principle of the possibility to do a collagen cross-linking for corneal infections. Why it's an interesting technology? Because the collagen cross-linking seems to be active on bacteria that is antibiotic resistant, and in some cases in which we have a very important corneal melting, the effect against the collagenase activity could be interesting for preventing a melting or stopping a melting, and in this way we can prevent the corneal perforations, which can lead to an emergency corneal graft. It's also interesting for fungal keratitis. Of course, probably the PAC-CXL or collagen cross-linking is not very active when we have a very advanced fungal infections because the fungus is too deep inside the cornea. But it could be interesting for the beginning of fungal infections. And it's just a case that we had in UK that was resistant to all antifungal treatment again, except natamycin. And you probably know there is different parameters. There is the parameters, it's always the same total energy, but we can do the treatment in 30 minutes with 3 milliwatts, 10 minutes with 9 milliwatts, 5 minutes, 80 milliwatts. The idea is if we do a treatment during a very, very short times, we will not allow the oxygen to go inside the cornea. And if the biomechanical modifications of the collagen cross-linking is oxygen dependent, we should see a decrease of the biomechanical modifications, even if we keep always the same total energy. And we done the publications, we analyzed the biomechanical modifications with different fluencies, and we show that the biomechanical modifications is lower if we're crossing during a short times, but always at the same total energy. We done the same experimentations in an oxygen-free environment. We use helium as a filling agent, and we prove that we have no biomechanical modifications of CXL without oxygen. You can see here you have the control groups. It's just a cornea with riboflavin, a cornea that was cross-linked, and a cornea with riboflavin cross-linked in an oxygen-free environment. And you see that we have no biomechanical modifications. And now the big question is, do we have the same thing for PAC-CXL? Because the explanations of the biomechanical modifications of CXL is the photoactivate riboflavin will lose an electrons, and these electrons will be trapped by the oxygen, and it will create free radical. And before doing the experimentations, my first hypothesis was to say that we will not have an effect if we're crossing always with the same total energy, but during a short time, because we will not have a sufficient amount of free radical to kill the bacteria. And for that, we had to develop in vitro experimental setting. The problem is, you know probably that the cross-linking is highly effective on the first 100 micron. And you can see that after 345 micron, we have only 5% of the energy. And the big problem is, if we want to analyze the killing rate of bacteria, we can put the bacteria in the drops with riboflavin, because the treatment will be effective only on the first 30% of the drops. And that's why we developed an in vitro setting with some corneal piece of 150 micron and the size of 10 millimeters. We put riboflavin and bacteria on it. We cross-link at different setting, UV, different power, different time. After we extract the bacteria with saline, and we just count the number of bacteria. And with this in vitro method, we was able to find big difference between the control group that was not exposed to UVA and the groups treated with UVA during 5 minutes at 80 milliwatt by centimeter square. And of course, we do exactly the same test with two kinds of bacteria, and we publish this in the Journal of Refractive Surgery. And you see that we have completely different results compared to the biomechanical modifications, because if we're crossing at 80 milliwatt by centimeter square during 5 minutes, we have still a very important killing rate, something around 95%. And it seems to be the same for Pseudomonas aeruginosa and Staphylococcus aureus. That means it seems that the killing rate of bacteria with PAC-CXL is not oxygen dependent, or the oxygen has not a very important effect. And this is our last result. We do exactly the same thing for the biomechanical modifications, but we just cross-link, we do the same experimentations in an oxygen-free environment. And this is very interesting, because you can see that without oxygen, we kill 95% of bacteria. And if we add the oxygen, we increase the killing rate to 95. And there is some difference between both bacteria. It seems to be the oxygen-free crossing seems to be less effective on Pseudomonas aeruginosa. But we have still 50% of killing. And or final hypothesis. One explanation is there is some publications that prove that the riboflavin can interact with the DNA. And if we analyze the riboflavin has a planar structure as the doxorubicin, for example. The doxorubicin is a chemotherapy, it's an intercalating agent. And the idea is maybe at high concentrations, the riboflavin can have some interactions with the DNA. And when we photoactivate the riboflavin, we can probably create some chemical bond between the DNA and the riboflavin, and this killed the bacteria. And it was our final hypothesis is the cross-linking, that means the increase of the biomechanical property of the corneas is probably totally oxygen dependent. It's the interactions of the UVA, riboflavin, and oxygen that create two parts. The reactive oxygen species that is probably only 4% of the killing rate of the bacteria. And there is the other mechanism that seems to be an oxygen-free mechanism, and that it's probably an interactions of the riboflavin and the DNA of the bacteria, or maybe another protein. And it's allow a killing rate of 95%. This is very interesting because it will allow the PAC-CXL treatment in a very short time. Thanks.